for a total maximum period of 29 months of continuation coverage. The plan can charge qualified beneficiaries an increased premium, up to 150% of the cost of coverage, during the 11-month disability extension. The requirements are, first, that the Social Security Administration, SSA, determines that the disabled qualified beneficiary is disabled before the 60th day of continuation coverage and, second, that the disability continues during the rest of the 18-month period of continuation coverage. The disabled qualified beneficiary or another person on his or her behalf also must notify the plan of the SSA determination. The plan can set a time limit for providing this notice of disability, but the time limit cannot be shorter than 60 days, starting from the latest of 1. The date on which SSA issues the disability determination. 2. The date on which the qualifying event occurs. 3. The date on which the qualified beneficiary loses, or would lose, coverage under the plan as a result of the qualifying event. Or, 4. The date on which the qualified beneficiary is informed, through the furnishing of the SPD or the Cobra General Notice, of the responsibility to notify the plan and the procedures for doing so. The right to the disability extension may be terminated if the SSA determines that the disabled qualified beneficiary is no longer disabled. The plan can require qualified beneficiaries receiving the disability extension to notify it if the SSA makes such a determination, although the plan must give the qualified beneficiaries at least 30 days after the SSA determination to do so. The rules for how to give a disability notice and a notice of no longer being disabled should be described in the plan's SPD. And in the election notice if you are offered an 18-month maximum period of continuation coverage. Second qualifying event. If you are receiving an 18-month maximum period of continuation coverage, you may become entitled to an 18-month extension, giving a total maximum period of 36 months of continuation coverage. If you experience a second qualifying event, that is the death of a covered employee, the divorce or legal separation of a covered employee and spouse, a covered employees becoming entitled to Medicare, in certain circumstances, or a loss of dependent child status under the plan. The second event can be a second qualifying event only if it would have caused you to lose coverage under the plan in the absence of the first qualifying event. If a second qualifying event occurs, you will need to notify the plan. The rules for how to give notice of a second qualifying event should be described in the plan's SPD, and in the election notice if you are offered an 18-month maximum period of continuation coverage. The plan can set a time limit for providing this notice, but the time limit cannot be shorter than 60 days from the latest of 1. The date on which the qualifying event occurs. 2. The date on which you lose, or would lose, coverage under the plan as a result of the qualifying event. Or, 3. The date on which you are informed, through the furnishing of either the SPD or the Cobra General Notice, of the responsibility to notify the plan and the procedures for doing so. Summary of qualifying events, qualified beneficiaries, and maximum periods of continuation coverage. The following chart shows the specific qualifying events, the qualified beneficiaries who are entitled to elect continuation coverage, and the maximum period of continuation coverage that must be offered, based on the type of qualifying event. Note that an event is a qualifying event only if it would cause the qualified beneficiary to lose coverage under the plan. 2. In certain circumstances, qualified beneficiaries entitled to 18 months of continuation coverage may become entitled to a disability extension of an additional 11 months, for a total maximum of 29 months, or an extension of an additional 18 months due to the occurrence of a second qualifying event, for a total maximum of 36 months. See duration of continuation coverage earlier in this booklet. 3. The actual period of continuation coverage may vary depending on factors such as whether the Medicare entitlement occurred prior to or after the end of the covered employee's employment or reduction in hours. For more information, see Duration of Continuation Coverage earlier in this booklet, or contact the Department of Labor's Employee Benefits Security Administration, EBSA, electronically at askabza.dal.gov or by calling 1-866-444-3272.